The topic is the Tennessee Human Rights Commission, and we're talking to the Executive Director of the Tennessee Human Rights Commission, Ms. Beverly Watts. And of course, Ms. Watts, let's have you over the last segment that we have here, since you've given us so much excellent information. Let's have you to think in terms of the future of race relations or human relations, or however you wish to describe it, in this final segment, and as to whether or not we need to take some additional action in order to legislatively fortify some of the things that you have facing you.
Okay. I think, you know, if there's one thing I'd have to say, 40 years after Dr. King's death, I think we still have work to be done, that the resources available to those of us who do this kind of work probably are not a lot and are limited. So always there's a need for more resources. Does that mean more public dollars? Maybe. We can always use more people. So we're looking for ways to collaborate with the NAACP, some of the historic organizations, to make sure things are happening. There's a lot of pieces of legislation in Washington currently at the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights, and others are looking for ways to do that. I know that the Leadership Conference is looking at trying to redo the Civil Rights Act of 1957, review it, revise it, and update it. And that was the bill that created the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. Then Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, EEOC's legislation, HUD's, those are pretty much intact and look pretty good. The Tennessee Human Rights Commission, we're going to be looking at not this legislative session, but probably others, to make sure that our law is consistent with the federal law and that we can update our law. When we look at disability issues, we look at religious discrimination issues, all of those are on the rise. Age discrimination, there's a lot of laws in place, but sometimes I'm not sure we have enough resources to get the message out to people, so we're looking to do more of that. Whether or not there needs to be a law, we're looking to the Leadership Conference, the National NAACP, and letting them sort of lead the charge. The Leadership Conference has their website, civilrights.org, where they really are identifying laws that need to be enhanced, updated. The Voters' Rights Act was just extended, so we're happy about that. Immigration is an issue, while not really 100%, but really is an issue I think this country has to deal with, and it's still languishing in Congress. The notion of where we go and what do we do on immigration has an impact for us from a civil rights perspective. So we think those issues are important as well. I think if people think they've been discriminated against, whatever the arena, they can call our office, and I believe the number is probably going to appear either at now or after our program, but call us so we can go through those with them, because I think it's important for us to provide the advice, for them to provide the specifics on their specific issue, and that's what we do. Now, if I always had a magic wand, we'd always want more people so that we could respond to the issues that are raised. Will we get that? Probably not, so we have to be realistic. I think the other thing for us is that this year, the legislature is reviewing us for sunset. Every Tennessee agency, with the exception of a few, has sunset legislation, so we have to be reauthorized every so often.
Now, exactly what does that mean for your organization?
What that means is that we will be, every agency goes out of business or is set to expire, if you will, unless the state legislature extends us. For us, our date for expiration is June 30th, 2008. The good news is that there is legislation that has been introduced in the 2008 session to extend us to 2012. So we'll be going before the legislature, telling them who we are, what we do, how well we do it, and responding to some audit issues, and hopefully getting an extension to that date. So that's what that means.
But they have the ability, the law is so written that they have the ability to simply end the Tennessee Human Rights Commission at their discretion as the legislator, the legislature.
Right, and it's written in on every 5 to 7, every 3 to 7 years is really what it is, every 3 to 7 years. So we're looking at that over.
Well, now, what would be the justification for such a law?
All of the agencies in Tennessee and the legislature has written it into the law. Some states have it, some don't. This is one. So it's not just us, it's every agency, but I'm talking only about our agency at this point. And they would just review and decide whether or not what needs to happen.
That you're really doing what you're supposed to do.
And that's really what it is.
A very, very positive impact rather than a negative impact.
Exactly. And it's an evaluative process, and it gives the legislature an opportunity to evaluate our performance, how well we're doing, and how well we're going to do things in the future. So. You
talked about sending out investigators. Give us some information relative to that. I mean, these individuals who go out and determine whether or not a hotel or a house or whatever is not doing what it's supposed to do. How are those individuals selected, and what are some of the criteria that they look for?
We're looking for someone with an ability to analyze facts, to determine issues, and evaluate whatever information they have, both from the complainant and from the respondent, who may be an employer, housing provider, or a provider of public accommodations. We have 9 employees who work in employment and 6 who work in housing. And they actually investigate cases and determine based on what we get. Complainant says, I was not promoted. Someone else was promoted. And I wasn't promoted because I am a female over 40. And I happen to be black. And we get cases where all 3 of those elements are looked at. We may or may not find that that is discrimination. But then they come back to us and they says, by the way, I filed a complaint with you 2 weeks ago, and my employer fired me because I filed a complaint. That's a retaliation claim, and a lot of our issues are retaliation. It is unlawful to retaliate against someone because they file a complaint of discrimination with our organization. So sometimes we'll review that. Our investigative staff looks at all of the facts. What did the complainant say happened? When? Were there witnesses? We'll interview those witnesses. What did the respondent send in? We'll talk to the respondent. What did they do? If they're a manager of an apartment, we'll talk to that manager. If there are other tenants, we'll talk to the tenants in the complex. Who has relevant information? So we're like the investigative staff. If we find information that leads us to believe that discrimination has occurred, we'll turn it over to our legal staff. And they'll start either legal proceedings or they'll attempt to conciliate the matter. Last year, we conciliated and or settled, and we got benefits of over $400,000 for individuals who came to us. And that was a variety of things. Some of it was back pay. Some of it was front pay. We got attorney's fees, a variety of things, promotions, a number of things in the employment arena. In the housing arena, we got new housing. Sometimes we got their security deposit returned. So a variety of things that can be returned, and people can always go to our website too. We have a website. You go to tennessee.gov and look up the Human Rights Commission. Our annual report for 2006 is located there, as well as our report for 2004, I believe, is there as well.
And so you can actually determine how much, financially, how much money you were able to pull in for those individuals who feel that they've been discriminated against. And so you've come to some 400, almost $250,000.
Right, in 2006.
2006.
And some of them could be small amounts. I mean, one individual might get 500, another individual might get 200. We might have someone who got $30,000. It all depends, but yeah, but we're able to track that. And most of those are settled cases, where we go in, the person who discriminated says, I didn't do anything, but yes, I want to settle the case or conciliate the case for this amount of money. And the complainant says, I agree to accept it. And we do that. We also do mediation, where we'll mediate the disputes as well.
Over the last 2 minutes now, we do hear every now and then some of these extraordinary awards that have been given by various commissions, judges, and et cetera. In your own experiences, what has been the largest award that you've witnessed during your career?
During my career, we had a case in Kentucky where we got about $3 million for one person.
For one person?
For one person. That was about $3 million, and that included a promotion, it included bonuses, it included reassignments, it included housing pay, it included a variety of things, and it included back pay for failure to promote over a number of years. And that was about about $2 to $3 million, yes.
Now that was an extraordinary...
That was extraordinary and unusual at the local level. You'll find EEOC has cases that'll settle. You'll find in like 30, 40 million. Well, that's a class action. So that doesn't mean one individual gets it. It could be as many as 100 individuals or more that might be paid those amounts. But that's what I've seen. And then we had one case that settled for $150,000 to one individual, again in Kentucky when I was there. In Tennessee, I know last year, I believe we had a case where we were looking at perhaps a case that was about over $500,000 and those kind of things. In Kentucky, I could tell you who, what, when, and where. In Tennessee, I can't.
Catching up with it. Okay, very good. Of course, Ms. Watts, let me, over the last 30 seconds that we have here, thank you for bringing that excellent information in reference to the Tennessee, the human rights in a real sense, and especially about the Tennessee Human Rights Commission. And I think that your experiences and your ability to articulate some of the activities that you've been involved in will certainly play a very, very important role in terms of how people will see this organization, and we appreciate that for you. And of course, let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.